Hey, you can't hear me.
It's connecting the audio. Connecting.
Robayo, where are you?
Mr. Chum, what's
Hey,
up,
there's that
man?
beautiful
How are you,
voice.
man?
Good, dude. Turn your camera
I
on.
want to see your beautiful face.
I know. Give me just 1 second.
Yeah, take your time, bro. It's so good to hear you, man.
Yeah,
There
let
you
me
go.
settle down.
What's going on, man?
Just fine, man. Just give me just 1 second.
Yeah,
This is
take
not
your
my
time.
house. I'm just trying to figure out where to sit.
It's not your house?
Well, we're living. We're living in South Mexico. We moved like 7 months ago. We're traveling around South Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Shit.
So we're moving every 2 weeks. Give me just 1 second, man.
Oh, I want to hear about this.
Yeah.
Why's he got to be like super handsome and shit?
Oh, no.
You fucking,
Damn it.
fucking Andres.
If only.
He's got the good looking beard going.
Hey, you had one too,
Dude.
but
One Brooklyn has a friend over, and her dad dropped her off, and I forget about it. So when I like walked outside to chit chat with him for a second,
Sorry, man. This is
called it
getting,
out, and I was just embarrassed as shit.
getting ready.
Oh, you're fine, man. Dude, it's wonderful to see you. It's been what 4 or
2
5
years?
years, 4 years, yeah,
Nah, like 2 years, no?
3 years,
Yeah,
man.
like 2, 3 years.
Time flies.
I know time goes past really fast.
Yeah, this is Ryan, by the way. Andres, Ryan,
Nice to
Andres.
meet you, man.
it's nice to meet you.
Ryan lives in Colorado, but spent a lot of his life nearby me.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So go back to what you were saying. You're currently
Yes.
traveling around southern Mexico.
Well, basically, yeah, like 7 months ago, we decided to move, like during the pandemic, because we were doing like home office. We decided to travel around Mexico, South Mexico. So it's been quite 6, 7 months.
So basically, you were like, "What are we doing stuck here? We both work from home. Why don't we just go?"
Go around, and we're moving every 2, 3 weeks from one place to another.
Was there a particular reason you chose South Mexico?
Well, basically because Merida, where we are right now, we liked it a lot, and it's like it has like a good quality of living if you compare it like to other countries and to other cities in Mexico. So we decided to take a look if we wanted, like, to see if we wanted to move here permanently.
Yeah.
But once we got here, like, South Mexico is really beautiful, so we decided to move around. So we'll be moving like every 2, 3 weeks, 1 month in one place, 2 weeks in one place, 3 weeks in one place, and it's been like that, like for 7 months.
That's really
Are you doing like a Airbnb, like a
We're doing Airbnb.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's quite expensive though, but yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's a really efficient way to discover new places or rediscover old places, and especially if you're considering moving there, you know.
Yeah. It's quite big actually. It's like it's the peninsula. It's like
okay.
I'm pulling up a map, Ryan. What's the name of the town?
Tulum.
The city. What's the name of the city?
Merida.
Spell it.
Merida.
Okay. I'll have it pull up a map so we can check it out while we talk about it.
Yeah, it's like it's called Yucatan, like the state.
Yeah. Yucatan Peninsula there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have like two different states. You have Yucatan and up north in the south, in the peninsula. And at south you have Quintana Roo. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So how close are you physically to the ocean right now?
Like 20 kilometers from here.
Nice. How's the beaches?
Well, up here there are nice, but not as nice as they are in the south. Like if you go all the way down to the peninsula, like you have Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Tulum. Like those are like really amazing, really, really beautiful.
Wow.
And it's about like 300 and something kilometers from there to here.
Okay.
So it's not that far.
That's awesome.
What astounds me, I mean, Mexico is such a huge country with
It's huge,
so much variation.
I know, it's huge. But yeah, down here is really beautiful. It has like
That's
a lot
not
of.
what I wanted. Sorry.
I bet you did. Yeah, and it's like a very cultural state, like where I am right now, Merida, because it used to be where the Mayans live.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So we have like the big ruins and everything. Actually, the like 30, 40 kilometers from here, it was where the meteor,
The meteor.
the meteor, the one that
Yeah.
killed the dinosaurs,
Yep.
fell, yeah, like 30, 40 kilometers from here, from the
Yeah,
city.
I think that's the theory that's generally accepted. You know, to hit right around there, around the Yucatan Peninsula.
Yeah, it's like quite close to here,
It's
like
fat.
5 kilometers.
My 7-year-old is really into dinosaurs, so
Yeah, that's what you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I was going to ask. No thoughts on kids. No kids for you. Don't want them.
We have 2 dogs.
Ah,
Yeah, like around here.
nice.
We're planning to. Hopefully this year, next year.
Okay, dude.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're having a blast right now. So you know what I mean. No,
Well, we're working most of the time during the week.
yeah.
Like we start at 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and we end at
that's
9.
not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, 9, 10 o'clock at night. So
Wow.
yeah, we're working
That's
every
a
day.
lot.
All day. I know. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the internet connection is really the most important part of the Airbnb.
Yeah. Basically this. Yeah. So we did well that they accept dogs. This is number one, and the second one is like a good connection.
Right.
And because
that's
down
true.
here is the infrastructure here, like around the peninsula, is not really good. So that's the only thing that is like not really amazing from the trip, but
Yeah.
it's not bad.
How is the well, I'm sure it's easing up, but how was the safety when things first started getting weird to now? How's this past year been?
I know.
Healthy wise, all that shit.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons we moved here as well, because like we live in Monterrey, which is like a 1.5 hours from the States.
So it's a
From
pretty
McAllen
big
and
hub
Monterrey.
for immigration. Would you say Monterrey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really close. Yeah. So well, it's like a very industrialized city, very big city. And down here, like it's more natural. You have more spaces. So we decided to come here because it was safer as well.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So like basically, you don't have to meet with anyone here. It's a smaller city.
Right.
You have more nature, so you can go like do the nature, and you're out in open spaces.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Justin mentioned that you were a hiker.
Well, I like hiking.
Yeah.
I like hiking. I like biking as well.
Bike. Yeah. Biker too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you were biking.
Hiking is my favorite sport. It's I
amazing.
live in Colorado, so I have the mountains. You know, in under an hour I can be in the middle of them, and so the hiking is just glorious. And yeah.
Well, in Monterrey it's better. Like Monterrey is surrounded by mountains, and it's like a big desert.
Yeah.
So for hiking is amazing. There's actually like 40, 30 minutes from Monterrey. There's like one of the most amazing places to climb and to hike and to climb.
What's it called?
Oof.
You can say it in Spanish or whatever, man.
It's Potrero Chico.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like the second best place in the world to climb. Which is really crazy because it's like in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And yeah, there are a lot of places to hike around Monterrey. Down here is more jungle, so there's not like a lot of places to hike. But yeah, that's
wow.
Yeah, it's like around Monterrey is all that scenery. It's like that. It's amazing. It's really beautiful.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Did you just go scuba diving recently?
Yeah, we decided to get certified.
Nice.
Since we've been here, it was like 4 months ago, I think. And yeah, we did like the first, which is open diver, and then we did the advanced course. So yeah, we have like around 25, 26 dives.
Wow.
Yeah, like since we started like 4 months ago. We've been trying to do it like, yeah, it's been like.
What's the average water depth that you dive in?
Actually, it's funny because I said, well, if you do the open water, it's like 100 and no, it's 60 feet.
Wow.
With the advanced, you have 140. So we did like we're doing, yeah, we did 140 to we got certified to do 140, but because I have an eye condition, I don't supposed to be diving so deep.
Because of the
So,
pressure.
yeah, because of the pressure. So I'm trying not to go so deep, but it's like around. We're trying to do like around 22 meters, which is like 60 something
Yeah,
feet.
60
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
Wow.
around 60 something feet.
You've been hitting
And
the same
depending on the type of
spots?
play. Do what?
You go to the same areas each time, or are you hitting
Well,
different?
yeah, because we're driving. We're driving around the peninsula. We're having like
Okay.
we're doing very different spots. We
That's
found this one that is really amazing, which is really close to the border with Belize, which is called Mahawal. It's like the last town. It's really weird. It's not really common here as well. Mahawal
Yeah.
is almost in the border with Belize,
Oh, okay.
and it's a
Right
place
there.
in the middle of nowhere. It's really amazing, really beautiful. So this is one of the most amazing spots we found to dive. And the reef is like 50 meters from the coast.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's really amazing. It's really beautiful. And that's one of the spots we found, and we're going there like a lot. But I did in Playa del Carmen, I did the one with the bull sharks.
Ooh, whoa.
Yeah, that was really amazing.
My
Give me a
daughter and I were having a conversation about that the other day. I mean, if we were going to go scuba diving, would you swim with the sharks?
Give me pictures.
You should. It's really scary, but it's like, wow, it's a lot of adrenaline. It's amazing.
It's an adventure. I mean, that sounds like
It's
so
an
much
adventure.
fun.
It was an adventure. It was like we dived with 13 bull sharks, 3 meters.
Oh,
Wow.
shit.
Like 3 meters is like 3 times is like 12, 12 feet. No.
Yeah.
We're familiar with the metric system, man. We're
Yeah.
not-
Okay. Yeah. It's like 3 meters. I know, yeah. No,
It's
because,
always an estimation. It's never exact for me.
I
but-
appreciate
I know,
it.
it's always compared with that, but it's around
Yeah,
12 feet, 12, 13, 14 feet, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were big. They were really big.
Mhm.
It was 13 of them.
I just
And
like
this
ooh.
guy was feeding them like 50, 60 centimeters from me, like 2 feet from me. So sometimes they
Holy
could
cow.
touch you. Yeah, it was amazing. It was crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so you were like,
this you?
yeah, that's my missus and me.
Oh
Oh,
my, that is you.
That's both of us. Yeah, that's a cenote dive. Like around the Yucatan, where I am, or around Merida, there's like a lot of cenotes. I think because of the meteor, when it hit, like
Right.
the land is like a cheddar cheese.
Mhm.
So you can find like a lot of cenotes. Cenotes is like these inside rivers, and you have like pools in the middle of nowhere, like those.
Oh,
like
wow.
caves.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So they are really beautiful. So we did like the
It's very
cenotes.
clear.
It's
Like the water is super
really, really clear. It's amazing. It's amazing. And some of them are really close to the sea. Some of them are not. So I did like one by myself, like in the beginning of the year, that it had like a mix between salty water and
fresh water.
Yeah.
fresh water. So you have like a different
So you get
view
that effect,
between
yeah.
both of them. You have like a really strange effect, which is
Mhm.
really amazing.
It's like a
And
buoyancy thing, I guess.
it looks like the salty water looks. I don't know how to
Yeah.
describe it even in the Spanish. It's really strange. And then like the fresh water is really clear, so you can
Right.
play with both of them with your
Yeah, you can actually.
play with them.
That's cool.
Amazing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and that one was like I was diving in caves that I didn't supposed to do it, but it was amazing.
How
It was-
scary is that? Like I've heard just horror stories of like
I
cave.
know,
Well, it's the most dangerous sport that you can do.
I know it wasn't like a very
Okay.
closed
shallow,
cave.
yeah.
It was like a kind of like a secure cave,
Gotcha.
probably like 2 meters high.
Wow.
So,
Oh, okay.
and they suppose like because I wasn't I'm not certified in cave diving, but you can do it if you have an exit every 60 meters. which is like 200 feet, something like that. If you have an exit every 200 feet, it's okay if you are certified.
So you don't need a guide after you're certified to a certain depth?
No, you do need a guide.
Okay,
You need you always have to be with a dive master.
Okay.
So yeah, you always have to.
How do you become a dive master?
You need a lot of dives and a lot of certification.
1,000 hours or something kind of thing?
I think it's like 1,000 dives, something like that.
That's a cool job. That's a good gig.
I know, but yeah.
Although
the Cape one is really dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we are in Merida. Most of the people who dives are specialized in cave diving because of the cenotes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The beach here is not really nice to dive.
Gotcha.
So most of them do it in cenotes. If they want to dive like at the sea, they have to go all the way down to Cancun, Cozumel, which is like the south of the peninsula.
Wow.
So most of them are certified. So we got certified with people that are really specialized in cave diving.
Mm-hmm.
So
do you ever have?
Really nice. So
do you ever have moments like? Considering my own experience in the wilderness, because in Colorado, I'll run into bears and I've been tracked by a mountain lion, things like that. There's things, but you can plan ahead for that and know what to do. Are there things that you plan ahead for specifically with cave diving? And I'm sure there are, but also, have you ever had a moment where you're like, oh my God, what have I got myself into?
We actually did, yeah. We were diving in, well, like, what was it? Like 1 hour from Mahawal, there's like this beautiful island, which is a natural reserve.
Mm-hmm.
So we did this tour with some people who came from Mexico DF, the capital. And we were diving. We didn't knew the people who was diving with us. We just knew the people, the dive masters.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is that the people we were diving with lied about the air they have left, which is really stupid. It's like you have to be
Really
mental
stupid.
to do that.
Yeah.
So 2 of them ran out of air at the same time. When we were we were at probably like 18 meters depth. Like, yeah, it was really deep. And one of them came to us, to my missus and I, just to try to grab. You always dive with an extra regulator.
Yeah.
So he tried to grab my wife's one, and I didn't want him to grab it, so I gave him mine.
Mm-hmm.
It was like this really big fat guy, and he's starting to breathe really fast. And if you start breathing really fast, well, you start filling your lungs with air, so you start going up. And if you go up really fast, you can kill yourself, or you can get hurt really bad because of the
what is it? Nitrogen? Yeah. Okay.
You have like a nitrogen
in your blood.
Yeah, in your blood.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go really fast, you can blow. So this guy started pulling me up. I was trying to pull him down. So in my mind, I was like, should I let him go, or should I try to grab him? But your mind is like, if I leave him, he's probably gonna die because he doesn't have the air to go out.
Right.
But if I go out, I'm probably gonna be hurt because of the nitrogen. Well, finally, nothing happened. He brought me out, but it was a really scary moment. I'm glad it was me and not my wife, because we were really close. But...
Exactly. Well,
yeah, but that was really
it's a lesson, and you must be prepared before you go out into the wilderness.
Yeah. So then I asked the dive master, and she told me, like, next time that happens to you, you have to take care of you.
Yes.
And if you're trying to pull you out, just let him go.
I mean, they tell it to you on planes when the oxygen mask falls down.
Yeah.
On yourself first before you help anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's not that easy when you have someone like you have his life in your hands, so it's like
fighting with you. Yeah, even
no, but it's like, if I let him go, I'm gonna kill him.
Right. Yeah. Was he panicking, like flailing and? Yeah, he was panicking. So it wasn't a fun moment. It was a really scary moment, but it was fun. It was a really beautiful place. It was a beautiful dive. Yeah. I'm going to dive again with them, because it was the first dive. Most of the time you dive 2-3 times. Mm-hmm. It was the first dive.
Oh shit!
So the second dive, we were really far away from them. Like,
you keep your distance.
Yeah, don't get close to me, man.
Stay over there, fatty.
And it was a really beautiful dive. We saw like the biggest turtle in the world. It was like 2.5 meter big. It was like big.
Wow.
Big. You were like, wow. It was probably like 1.5 meter tall and like 2.5 meters long.
Jeez.
Like huge. We thought it was a rock. I mean, it was so big. We thought it was a rock. We stood there like 15 minutes trying to figure out what it was. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Could it be? No, it could. It reminds me of the SNL sketch. What the hell is that?
It was like, what the hell? And while we started looking at it, because we all stopped at the same time, like, what's that? At the same time, like 30 seconds after, like this cat shark started swimming around us. So it was a really beautiful moment. Wow. Because we were seeing like this huge normal turtle laying on the sand.
Yeah.
Like, it was probably like 20 something meters. And this cat shark started like swimming around us. So it was really beautiful. Because they are like basically like cats. They start playing like, with you, around you, and
they're not going to eat you.
No, they don't do anything. Yeah, they don't do anything. Yeah. It was really big. It wasn't that big. It was like 2 meters long.
They're still pretty big.
Yeah, it was pretty big. But they are not really dangerous. Those ones are not. It was really fun moment. So it did happen something bad, but it was, and I think that's the worst thing that has happened to us, to be honest with you.
What's your next one? You got one planned?
We're trying to go 2 weeks from here in Holy Week.
Okay.
We're trying to go down there as well to Mahawal. We like the place a lot because it's like in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of the jungle, and then you have the beautiful beaches, and you have the dive. It's really close to the beach. So yeah, we're planning to go probably 2 weeks from now, which is the Holy Week.
That's awesome.
It's really close, yeah.
That's a great way to spend the Holy Week.
So I didn't even attempt to describe how we met, other than like, you were an exchange student and I met you in high school. So I didn't attempt to explain.
Yeah, I'm curious.
That came about. You mind telling that story for Ryan here? How you became involved and like ended up in America and meeting me in the middle of fucking Podunk, Indiana.
I know. It was how long was it? It was when I was 15. It was around 20 something years ago. It was a long time.
98, probably 98, 99.
97. I think it was 97, 98.
That's the year 97 is the year I graduated.
Yeah. So
I graduated in 99.
Where did you live when that happened? Where were you?
I did the foreign exchange student thing, and they sent me. Well, they actually choose the place you're going to, and I got to go to Charleston.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere.
I grew up in Charlestown partly because all of my best friends lived up there.
I know. It's a nice place.
How big of a culture shock was that?
Well, my city in Colombia is quite big. It's like around 4.5 million people. So, and by that time, it used to be like one of the most dangerous cities in the world as well. So.
Bogota, or is it
Medellin?
Medellin.
Yeah, Medellin. I used to live in Medellin. Well, I'm from Medellin. So yeah, the 90s was really a dangerous place to live.
Yeah.
Back then.
So your parents, good for your parents to like.
As well, yeah, it was a nice and smart decision to send me there.
Yeah.
And it was really nice, actually. Yeah, it was nice.
Because as a parent, I could imagine like, okay, this feels a little sketchy. Let me send my kid to the safest place I can possibly find. And Charleston, Indiana, in the United States is probably a good spot for you to be.
It was a good spot, and they wanted me to learn English as well, and see the world in a different way.
Yeah,
one of the main reasons as well. While I move as well, like to see different cultures, see different people, meet nice people like you that are always going to be close and near friends to you.
Yeah, man.
So
is that where you got the bug for it? Do you think like that first experience kind of made you want to just keep doing that forever?
I think it's in the blood. My dad used to move a lot,
Okay.
like around. He's a civil engineer, a construction engineer. Yeah, so he used to move a lot to different towns around Colombia, doing road, bridges, and those kind of things in the middle of nowhere. And he used to bring us with him to.
Gotcha.
Well, he was moving so much. He used to bring us with him.
Yeah.
A couple times on the weekends or a week with him.
So when you're in a spot for a while, do you feel like I've been here too long, I gotta go?
I need to move. Yeah.
I understand. I've seen that in a lot of people. I don't have that feeling, but I get it.
Yeah. I do have that feeling, and it happens every 10 years in my life. It doesn't happen very often, but every 10 years I need a significant change of some sort.
Andres has picked up the pace. He's up to every 2 weeks now. It's like,
yeah, I know.
You're gonna have to buy a plane or something if you increase it any
or
faster.
A boat.
Yeah,
I know, but I've been moving a lot in the last 15 years, actually.
Dude, I think it's awesome, man. Like, you spent some time in Barcelona, in Spain. Is that how was that?
I began. Everything started like in around, when was that?
97, 98. You're here. Yeah.
Yeah, but the last time it started in 2007, and in 2007, 2009, I decided to move like around South America. I took my backpack and I traveled for like around 6 months from Colombia to Buenos Aires.
Wow.
So I did it for 6 months, just traveling. Just around Peru, I stayed like 3 months. In Chile, I stayed like around 1 month, traveling all the way. In Bolivia, I stayed like about a month as well. So yeah, I did like.
How is La Paz? That's one city that I've always wanted to visit.
La Paz is strange. It's beautiful. Depends on where you go. Depends on what you want to do. I think Bolivia is amazing. I didn't like La Paz as much as I like Bolivia. In Bolivia, I love the lake, the Titicaca Lake. I think it's one of the most beautiful places in the world.
Does it seem natural to you? Like it was naturally made? That's one of the things about that lake. It was like man-made or something.
No, it's too big to be.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It looked huge.
It's like a sea. It's like
they found a lot of gold.
Like the ocean. Yeah. Well, actually, I went to the oldest mine in America, which is in Bolivia, which is called Potosí. Potosí mine is one of the. Is the highest city in America. Actually, I think it's still the highest city in America.
Wow.
That city, not La Paz?
No,
I guess La Paz is the highest metropolitan area.
Capital, yeah, the highest capital in the world. But Potosí is like the highest city in America.
How do you spell
it? Potosí is P-O-T-O-S-I.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, in Bolivia, and the mine still works. Like it's a mine that it's supposed to collapse like 200 years ago, but it haven't, and they're still mining it. It's like crazy.
Gold mine?
I think it's gold, copper, and it has like a lot of minerals in there.
Oh, it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Yeah. It's the oldest mine in America.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and if you walk like 2 blocks, you're like, you run out of air immediately because it's like 4,500 meters high, something like that.
Holy cow!
Wow, 13,343. Wow,
it's really high.
Yeah.
So it's really beautiful. Then you have Uyuni, which is South Bolivia, which is one of the most beautiful places in the world, probably. It's the border between Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina.
Okay.
That was one of the most beautiful places in the world as well.
Tell me about some of these people, man. Like I know these places got to be beautiful, but I want to hear about
especially like rural areas like Bolivia. Farmers.
It's all. Uyuni is near the Atacama Desert, which is the border, and that's supposed to be
on Earth.
The driest place on Earth, actually. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like you go up from Bolivia, then you have you're going all the way up, and then you start going down where you're going to Chile. So you are from 40 something meters high to sea level in Chile and Peru, to the Atacama Desert. It's like the border with it. It's amazing. It's amazing, an amazing drive.
Yeah. So how are what are your stories about the amazing people or crazy people? Yeah, I know you got a few of them.
We all have craziness in us.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Thank you for saying that. That is so true. And you have to embrace it.
Let's focus on the beautiful then.
Yeah,
I know. And well, you always traveling, you meet the people that are more connected to you finally. But I end up with one of them. Here is my wife.
Oh, hello. I don't know if we've actually spoken, but
Mi amor. Aparece aquí.
tell her I said hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Beautiful. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
She doesn't speak that much English.
Sí, I can understand, but I don't speak too much.
It's okay. It's fine with me. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you. You sound wonderful.
That was great.
So traveling, you always meet like people, like your best soulmates.
Where did you guys meet?
We met in Barcelona. Yeah, also we met in Barcelona 10 years ago, 11 years ago. Yeah, after I traveled for 6 months, I ended up living in Buenos Aires for like about a year and a half, 2 years.
I hear that's a beautiful town too.
Yeah, I worked there for about a year and a half, 2 years, and then I decided to move all the way to Barcelona to do my master. I did a master degree there.
Okay.
In what?
Advertising, strategic communication, and advertising. It took me a while to translate it. I'm sorry. Strategic communication, advertising, and well, my wife did it as well, so that's where we met.
Okay.
Yeah, quite 10, 11 years ago.
Awesome.
Then I moved to London from there, and for about a year and a half as well.
London, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just stayed in London for about a year and a half.
How was that? How was London?
London is quite different. It's amazing.
I've been to Europe a couple of times and I've traveled all around the continent, but one place I've never been is England or any of the British Isles. I want to go to Scotland, but
Scotland is really nice. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
It is? Okay.
Really nice. Well, London is weird. It depends on where you go. London is divided in south, west, east, south. So it depends on where you land, how you feel the city, because it's really different. It has every place in London has a different atmosphere and a different personality. The city is like very different. So if you go west, it's very rich. Everyone is really posh. Everything is really different. Central London as well is a different place, where you have like hooligans and really rich people, really nice people.
Yeah.
You go to South London, it's like dangerous. If you go to East, it's like immigrants everywhere, but it's actually like where, but it's actually where like the culture is moving. It used to be like North London, now it's like East London is like the nice cultural part of the city, which is like cutting edge things. Everyone is really, the designers, the advertising creativity, everything's over there.
It sounds like gentrification is coming into play in areas. It's coming into play in every big city, honestly. So it's not fair to single out London, but yeah, it happens.
And the city dies really, really, really early. Like around 11 o'clock, the city starts going down because the subway only works till 12. Everything is really far. Gotcha. So most of the people live from where they are, like around 11 something, so they can catch the last subway, because it's you got night buses, but they change the lane, the routes at night, and they take forever. Like if you used to do 1 hour, 1 hour and a half in one drive, in one journey, at night it could be like 3 hours, 3 hours and a half. So it's like, it's really cold. So if you're doing 3 hours at night waiting for a bus, it's like, no, you don't want to do it. Well, I did it 11 years ago. It's probably different now because I couldn't afford taxis. Taxis are really expensive. So if you have the money to take taxis, which is nice, you probably could do it now. It's a different story. But back then that I had to take buses, it wasn't really fun. It's a nice city. It's an amazing city.
The older you get, do you find yourself wanting to go to the more rural, like open spaces? Do you like, are you drawn to the open, smaller versus the city metropolitan areas?
I do. I get quite overwhelmed with so many people.
Yeah.
So,
Me too.
So we decided.
I get anxious.
I know. So do I. So do
Yeah.
I. So I can handle it anymore. I
Mhm.
try to get away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons as well. We try to come here to Merida because the atmosphere is very different.
The pace.
The pace is slower.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, even though we're working almost all the time with the pace we're doing it in Monterrey.
Yeah.
Well, at weekends, during the weekends, you have a very relaxed atmosphere. So
Right.
Mhm.
You don't feel like when you turn that work brain off, you don't feel like you have to keep up with the city around you.
kind of.
Mhm.
We never turn it off, but
I understand that.
yeah,
Sure.
but it's an amazing place. It's an amazing place.
So Barcelona, then back to is that?
I went back to Medellin for about
Okay.
1 year and a half. And then like 6 years ago, actually, I decided to come back here, to move back here to Monterrey, to formalize my relationship with my missus.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah, so it's been 6 years around here.
Yeah. And it sounds like have you been to a place yet that you would stop and stay?
I like Mexico. Yeah, I like Mexico.
Mhm.
We love,
in your past couple months, this past year where you've been moving, every couple of weeks or whatever, have you found a spot that you're like, we should go back there once we stop?
We want to stay here in Merida.
Okay.
We're looking we're actually looking for a place here, like to buy a house or something.
Nice.
Because it's like
Feels right.
yeah, it feels right. There's like a lot of things we find interesting here.
Mhm.
Like the people has like a lot of values because it's like an old city.
Yeah.
So people is really nice. They're still very cultural, savvy with their ancestors and everything.
Mhm.
There's a lot of nature around here. You have the beaches around here. Everything is really close.
That's great.
If you like archaeology, there's a lot of ruins
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
So it's really nice. So yeah, we want to stay. We actually want to stay here.
That's great, man. That's great.
That's so awesome that you've come to that determination, like or at least are feeling more comfortable with that outcome. You know, just after everything you've been through and all the traveling you've done, you have connected with the place. The both
But
of you.
it seems like you're also aware that you could easily 6 months from now change your thoughts and somewhere else and not have that big of a worry about it. That's great.
Yeah, it gets easier to move around after we've done it a couple of times. But she moved, like she lived in Barcelona for about 3 years. I've been moving a lot. It's like my 7th country. So it's nice because you can start from zero and nothing is gonna happen.
Mhm.
So, and once you get older, you have more experience, so you know how to start.
More confident in it.
You're more confident. You don't have the fear you used to have. You have experience, like doing it, and experience at work. So
Right.
it helps. It helps a lot. Like knowing that you can move and nothing's gonna happen. You
Makes
can
it
know how
easier
to
decision
start.
to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to make that decision. You're like, yeah, we can do this.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It's
Yeah. Even when there's a lot of unknown shit, you know what I mean? You don't have answers to any of the what ifs, but you're like, yeah, we can figure it out though.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the most amazing parts of it. That enigma, not knowing where you're going, not knowing where to find things,
Where you belong.
And somehow the discovery of everything, even where you're gonna buy groceries, is fun because you have to discover that. So
right,
where do I go? There have to be fresh. Where do I find the best ones?
And you have to like the food. I mean, because like
have to get used to it.
can you talk about the food culture where you are? I would love to hear about some of that because I'm a foodie myself.
Well, here is one of the richest gastronomical places in Mexico.
Mhm.
So the food here is really amazing, and it has a lot of variety, and it has a lot of ancestry because it's come from the Mayans. So it's an amazing food. It's one of the most delicious
fresh
things.
seafood.
Oh yeah.
Fresh seafood, and there's a lot of pork. Actually,
I love pork.
yeah, this like in Yucatan, there's a lot of pork. I don't know why. Well, the history about it, I don't know. Really, yeah, I don't know the history, but it's isn't the only place in Mexico that they have like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's like just here in Yucatan, it's very pork focused food.
Yeah. Lots of pigs.
Yeah, yeah. Why? I don't know. In other places, even though you have the sea really close.
Right. That is unusual. You know, you think.
I mean, yeah. What does the pig do? I mean, I'm reaching here.
It tastes so good. That's what
It tastes delicious, but you know, at least I mean, with a goat, you know, there are multiple uses for a goat.
No, for pigs, there's like a lot of them. Like
there are. I would love to. Yeah, I have no idea.
You have there's millions of recipes with pork.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just mean while they're alive.
Well, they're alive.
What do they do for you when they're alive?
Just sleep.
Yeah, just consume all your garbage, basically.
Exactly. So yeah, that's
yeah.
They eat fucking everything. Humans, whatever.
So sort of like a goat.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah. And there's like a lot of ancestry from different countries as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like Merida, it used to be one of the places where they used to export. I don't know how to say this one. Enequén. Enequén is like it's a plant like cactus. It's like a cactus, and with the cactus they used to build fiber to do sew things.
Yeah.
Oh.
It used to be like gold in 1400s, 1500s. So we used to have a lot of immigrants from China and
there to mine.
Lebanese?
Yeah, Lebanese.
Lebanon, yeah, from the Middle East.
That just brought into mine to work in the mines.
Yeah, so there's like a big mixture here between Chinese culture, Lebanese culture, Mexican
Chinese.
culture.
Chinese. Wow.
They used to have like Chinese slaves here working in the Henneken.
Mines everywhere.
Haciendas.
Wow.
Yeah, so they brought them here to work, the Chinese people. So they have like an accent here, different accent from the different Mexican states.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like when Chinese people or Arabic people speak Spanish, which is really weird. So you hear people speaking Spanish with a Chinese Arabic accent.
Yeah, I've never heard. Never heard.
Can't even imagine.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah,
it has to be strange.
Yeah, it's just strange.
But I also know when I was in France, like me speaking French probably sounded pretty weird too.
Yeah. No, but it's Spanish speaking people who always speak Spanish.
Right. Yeah.
But because they have like ancestors from, I don't know, 100 years ago, they have like a
cadence.
The way they use the regular language.
Yeah.
They have like different tones, like
it's like a Creole.
Yeah, it's so real that is nice.
English, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked into your ancestry? Like where your family came from?
I think my uncles had some time, and basically one of them is supposed to be from the Canary Islands.
Okay.
Yeah, One of them, and the other one,
Beautiful.
they say like it could be French, like jeans, Hennes, my second one, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I understand. I'm the same. I'm mutt.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, but I'm probably not. Yeah, definitely, I'm not indigenous from Colombia. Probably.
yeah.
Maybe if from the Middle East as well. There were a lot of people from the Middle East that migrated to Colombia as well. I don't know.
Do you have siblings, brother, sister?
I have two sisters, older than me. But my sister, like the middle one, has like really deep blue eyes.
Wow.
We used to be like, my hair used to be the same colors as yours. My sister, it's quite blonde.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is a strange mix, probably.
Yeah.
Where we come from.
Where are they currently?
My sister, the middle one, lives in Medellin. She still lives there. And the other one lives in Australia. She's been living there for about 21, 22 years ago.
Wow.
So she went to well, when she finished her college degree, she went there like to do an English study year, a foreign exchange student for a year. And she decided, well, no, actually, she was going back to Colombia, but she met this guy from Chile that was living in Australia, and they got together.
Yeah.
And he didn't let her go back. She was like, no, I want you to stay. We have to get married, and they end up getting married.
It's been 20 years then.
It's been 20 years and 22.
That's awesome.
And two daughters, two nieces from me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they are Chileans, and his parents are from Palestine, and they have to leave Palestine because of the war.
Yeah.
So they moved to Chile, and when they got back to Chile, they had to move because of the dictatorship. They moved to Pinochet, so they moved to Australia, and they've been living there. So
that's a big jump. From
Palestine
to Chile, and then Chile to Australia. That's
no.
I mean, you can't. I don't think you can go much further.
No, that is literally halfway around the world. So
yeah.
That's a giant leap. That's crazy.
After the dictatorship, Australia opened the doors to people from Chile as refugees.
Okay.
A lot of them moved there. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, how does that? How have you seen that affecting people you've known?
The immigration?
Immigration.
Yeah, just being able to freely travel.
Yeah, and not necessarily like immigration on the border of America. I'm curious, how it works elsewhere.
I'm a migrant, and I love being a migrant.
We all are in some way.
In some way, we are, yeah. And I don't think we're supposed to have barriers or frontiers or anything.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I don't believe in that. Even though
have you had any difficulty with it, traveling amongst?
Always.
Yeah.
Right now, I've been trying to settle all my papers here. It's been like around 2 years trying to settle them. So right now, I'm having troubles with my visa here.
Wow.
It's always crazy. It's always crazy.
It seems like it's unnecessarily complicated. Like it
isn't necessarily complicated. It is. It always is.
Yeah.
Because then you have they tell you that they're doing it because I don't know. They're doing it because they have to be sure that it's secure for everyone in the country and whatever. But then when you see the people doing the immigration things, they are drug dealers or robbers or prostitutes and everything. Like, wait, you're doing a big deal because I'm getting in your country, but you're letting in like a lot of people that are really coming here to do bad things. It's like, what the hell are you doing?
The very thing you tell me you're protecting everybody from, you have no problem just
letting people the wrong people in, and you're like, why are you letting them in but not letting me in if I'm not doing
anything? Do you think that could be a problem with, like, I know here in the States we have an issue with it. And I think a lot of any big bureaucracies have this problem, but organizations don't talk to each other. Like, so intake of information is really important. You intake information, and that information needs to be disseminated to the proper organizations, but it's not. So therefore, it slows the process.
It could be because of
But why have I don't know. It's a global economy now. Like, just can we just stop it with these invisible lines and just?
I know it's like everyone knows what we do. Actually,
Yeah.
like our data is everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not that hard for someone to know what you've done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like if they want to know,
Taxes should all be local.
Yeah.
You pay what taxes you pay should just go right back into the community you live in.
Yeah.
And
Like,
that'd be that.
I used to like jump around the states and the city because I used to work between the border. I was doing some jobs. We had like companies that were like in the border with the states in Houston, Austin, and I used to travel a lot. And the guys from the border even know which car you were crossing with. Like you crossed over here last time with this car with this place. It was this color and whatever, and you were with these people. Like yes, and they can tell like with whom you are, in which car you are.
Holy shit!
They know everything about you.
So why bother stopping you and asking you anything if they, you know what I mean? Why waste?
They know. Man. I haven't had trouble in the States, to be honest with you. And the times I travel, I never had problems in the United States. But it's always been really hard to get the papers ready in each country.
Yeah.
Actually, not in a bad way. I never had like really big problems, but it's always been like bureaucracy and everything.
Hassle.
Yeah, a big hassle to
something
to,
you
to settle things out. But
right. You got to do it. You know,
you got to do it. Yeah, I like always doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So
and finding out how to do it, I assume
that's the hardest part, especially for a lot of people. Knowing the proper channels to go through, knowing like how to fill out the paperwork in a proper way.
Yeah, there's no course for that, you know.
There's not.
Last week, I had to travel to Monterrey last week. I told you I haven't traveled right now because of from the visa here, because the bureaucracy here is way stupider. That was just like blows my mind. Like last week, I had to travel to Monterrey because I turned a paper in. The paper it had the paper I turned in. It says I'm changing my temporarily visa to a permanently visa.
Gotcha.
And they said that it didn't work, that it has to say I'm changing my state of temporarily to permanently because I spent more than 4 years. And just because I didn't put for more than 4 years, I had to go back, and my visa didn't went out for about a year and a half.
Exactly. Case in point. I mean,
you physically had to go back to take care of it. It seems like something you could have just done over the internet in 10 seconds.
No, and it has been like a year and a half that they haven't given me the paper because it didn't said that I was asking that because it happened. I spent 4 years. I didn't put that. Like, are you serious?
Right. Send it to me. I'll make it say whatever you want. Just I don't want to travel all the way back there for this nonsense.
Why has it taken a year and a half? I've given you all of my personal information.
I know. And I paid money. I took a 2 hour and a half flight in a pandemic moment that I didn't want to get close to anyone, just to turn a paper in because. And I had people I know like gave me the contact of the director of immigration in that part of the country. So I wrote him an email, and he was the one that told me that the paper was wrong. But if I didn't do that, I would still having trouble with my visa.
Exactly, because the burden of proof is placed on you, which is not fair to an immigrant. I don't think, coming into a country trying to find a new life for whatever reason that reason might be. It's like you have to provide the avenue to do it responsibly and legally. It's just not fair.
Or just tell me how much money you want. That's basically what it boils down to. Like, how much money do you want so I can not be here or be where I want to be?
Yeah.
Just tell me how much money you need me to pay you to leave me alone.
Exactly.
And I'll sign whatever you need me to. Just leave me alone. Here's my money.
I try to do that. I don't like doing that thing. I don't like doing that kind of things.
Yeah, no, nobody would.
But the last thing I did, I said to my lawyer, well, like, dude, ask someone how much do I have to pay, because I need those papers, man. I need those fucking papers.
Right.
It's been almost 2 years and I didn't buy visa.
Yeah, the fact that you even have to think about shit like that, it's stupid.
Yeah, so
I'm sure you're just like working every day and doing your normal life, and the last thing you're concerned about is the status of your visa.
I know. And yeah, I'm not doing anything wrong, but I have to pay my taxes here. I have to pay my bills here. I have to pay everything here.
Yeah.
Just
Silly.
You're still paying taxes. You're doing all that stuff.
I'm still paying.
You're doing everything right.
Yeah. I like to do things right. Yeah, and I always try to. It's one of the things I always try to do in every country, like follow the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm open-minded and I believe in freedom and we shouldn't be held the way we are, I try to follow the rules because, well, finally we have to, and it's the way it's supposed to be. But yeah, it's hard. It's not.
It should be. I mean, and like people who are choosing, choosing a new life in a new country are bringing something of value into those invisible lines, and to deny them that is really, you're sort of shooting your own self in the foot as a country to not let that happen, to not provide the avenue to make it happen. Because often I've found, like, people who I know who are immigrants in this country with not permanent visas and some with permanent visas are like, they can pass the citizenship test and I can't, because I studied all that stuff in social studies when I was, 8 years old. There's value in bringing in new perspectives and new ideas. I just don't understand why bureaucracy has to make it so difficult to do so.
It shouldn't be.
What's the last time you were upset with a rule? Just like of an area you've been in, like, this is like, when's the last time you were affected by one?
That's weird. Well, right now I'm being affected because of the immigration thing.
Right. Any others that come to mind?
Uh,
Are you travel restricted because of the pandemic?
I can leave the country right now. I have been able to leave the country in, well, a little bit more than 2 years since I'm doing the visa renewal. So yeah, I need a special permission to leave the country because I'm doing the renewal.
Right.
So yeah.
Could ask a mommy somewhere.
Why?
Okay.
It's just like,
This is stupid, I know, and so my parents are like grown up, so I did wrote the guys, like the guy I told you, the director of immigration. I wrote him, I'm like, dude, my parents are really old. I want to do a loan here. I want to buy a house, whatever. I can't visit my parents because I can't leave the country. And if I have to do something, it's impossible to meet them. So there are, the restrictions are, well, they could have bad consequences, like not being able to visit or going out. Yeah.
Especially when, it's not, means isn't the barrier, or being able to afford to go, or being able to physically get from one place, on your own accord. It's somebody else making that decision for you. That's silly.
I know.
it just sounds to me like, we don't need to get into this point too much, but it really does sound like modern society is struggling with the idea of globalization and also internalizing some form of nationalism, or just maybe simply retaining your own culture is a thing. And it's definitely a thing, and it should be discussed. But just like in this age of globalization, when people move about, we should be allowed to move about freely. And I just don't understand why this is a thing right now.
Because
I mean, yeah. Go.
Yeah, but most of the people running those kind of things, they don't even know what they are doing.
Mhm.
They are just a part of the system where they have to sign a paper or put a
Cog in the
something
wheel.
envelope, but they don't really realize what their job has, what the meaning of the job is in
Yeah,
like
the
a big
impact.
picture,
Right.
the impact that it has, that it has in
They're so removed from the actual scenario that they're making a decision on.
yeah. So I'm gonna say something I think I never would said before, but I think democracy has lost its power when people that is electing the people that is going to govern doesn't have the ability or capacity to choose the right people.
Mhm.
And I think this is one of the main problems we have right now in the world.
Do you think the population size has something to do with that?
Definitely, the population, education,
I
the
think
way
it's more money.
money, education,
Yeah.
population
Yeah.
is growing bigger than we could handle.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, the people, yeah, doesn't have the information they should have, the education they should have.
What do you
I've always believed in that point that you just made is if you want to change the world, you change it through education. And I get so fucking frustrated that, you know, at least in this country, I can only speak to this country because that's my only experience, but you know, as far as places that I've lived, but you know, teachers get paid so little. And I imagine that's across the board. That's not just this country. Teachers are paid next to
Yes,
nothing.
all over the world.
And if you want to change society for the future, be it take it out of a liberal or a conservative context or any kind of political party context, educate people, and then once you educate, people learn how to connect. Because when you're educated, when you're educating yourself, you're also educating yourself with other people around you, and you're networking, and you're learning how to interact with society. And by disassociating kids from education, you're destroying democracy.
I think a lot of professions though have their own language. So like by virtue of what you do, you almost are isolating yourself. Like I would assume advertising, you know, when you talk to people that are in advertising, you use advertising words, you describe things in a, you know what I mean? Like it's very specific versus when two lawyers or attorneys speak to each other, you know, they're talking on a technical level, or scientists, you know, any upper tier profession and field, they all have music, you know, composition. Ryan's a composer.
Composer and pianist.
Nice.
But that becomes an issue because it's hard for somebody to understand without context, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then be a part of, because they feel so alienated from each world, because once you're in a world, you realize like that's the only people you know, or you know what I'm saying? It's hard to eliminate, you know, that
What you're comfortable with.
what isn't for me, but I think a lot of people, you know, I think I'm good at going in between worlds, but
Yeah, you are.
there are a lot of attorneys that get stuck and only have attorney buddies. There are a lot of doctors who only have doctor buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it, because that's what they enjoy and that's what they want to talk about, discuss at a very high level. So I understand it, but at the same time, they're missing out on so much of the world that their brain isn't even giving a thought to, because they're isolated in their own field.
Missing out on connection to people who might live a similar lifestyle, but just live in a different
or the ability
field.
to relate, maybe, you know, just being able to relate. Yeah. Like,
Definitely.
I don't think two people would say me and Andres are we couldn't be more different as far as, you know, if you were to put us side by side and I told you what I did or whatever, I'd talk to you for 5 minutes and you talk to Andres for 5 minutes, you wouldn't think we would, you know, Dude, I love this dude. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
just,
Well, I mean, but before he jumped on, Andre, forgive me, Justin, but Justin said he's a kindred spirit. I mean, I mean, that's real. That's real in your lives. Like, but no one else sees that. Except for after tonight.
A lot of people miss out on that because they pigeonhole themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think those are the kind of connections you find like traveling, because otherwise we wouldn't met. Like we met and we connect because whatever is different with us, we have similar thoughts that connect us, and we could be everywhere in the world, but that openness that we have to connect, I think it's always be a thing that ties us.
Yeah.
Like that. And is profiling, not the personalities, but profiling, the profile you have as a person, the one that allows you to connect with someone else.
Right.
So we have a profile that is more open. There are different profiles, like the one you're talking about, where they decide to be more focused on them and the close group they have, introverted. And definitely is a problem. As an advertising, I think I have an advantage because I have to be open and I have to get in different kind of.
That's part of your job is to.
Part of my job, right? To get in all those different profiles.
What are these dummies into, or what are?
So I get to see different worlds by working.
Well, and you've seen different worlds too, and that has to influence your advertising.
Yeah.
Living in 7 different countries, traveling so much that.
Yeah, I would have to.
I bet you're a damn good advertiser.
Yeah.
I hope.
Is your Mrs. personality? Do you see yourself as opposites?
No, we're quite similar. Well, she's more organized. I'm more disorganized, but we're quite similar.
But
she works in advertising as well, so
you see your flaws as some of her strengths.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's
we
what
we complement each other. Yeah, in lots of ways. Yeah, definitely we do.
That's good, man.
Been a nice ride with her. Yeah,
that's a magical thing right there.
We haven't get married. We actually trying to this year, hopefully.
Nice.
It's been a nice ride.
Yeah, that's a magical thing, man. I'm lucky there. You know that. But
beautiful family. You have beautiful kids.
Appreciate that. It is hard to imagine.
You have to start your basketball team now.
They're soccer fans, so.
Oh, you need.
Dude, are you kidding? I didn't know this about you, Justin. They're soccer fans?
Yeah. Liam loves some soccer.
Okay, well, oh no, you've talked. Yeah, I remember that now. You talked about Liam. Lyra is a huge soccer fan.
Nice.
So Liam and Lyra are going to have some soccer fights when they get together.
Do you watch what league do you watch? What's the name of the soccer league you watch, Andres?
I used to love soccer a lot. I haven't. I kind of lost I love playing. I always gonna love playing football. It's for us football.
Yeah.
But I don't watch football anymore. I don't know why.
You just don't have 4 hours to spend watching a game.
Exactly. It sounds like you're busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to, when if it's the final, I watch the Premier League. I watch Copa del Rey sometimes. I watch.
What was your team though when you had a team? Were you
Medellin, the one in my city? Yeah, in Medellin you have like 2 different teams. Well, actually 3, but 4. Actually 4. Used to be 2. Then they have like 2 more. But to be honest with you, it's only 2 of them.
That matter.
Medellin, that matter. Which is Medellin and Nacional. Nacional is like probably the biggest team in Colombia.
Okay.
And it's probably one of the best teams in South America. Well, probably all Latin America, because Mexico and Central America sucks in football. So I'm talking about South America.
That's awesome. But I understand that, man. I don't watch a lot of sports because of that reason. I just don't have enough time in the day to dedicate to it. because once you get into it, like if it sucks you in, you want to be a fan and want to like keep up and know
them, and But I used to watch a lot of soccer games from Medellin. I used to love to go to the stadium.
Yeah, it's an experience.
If you ever come to South America, the experience is.
I bet.
In South America is completely different.
It's the only places you see like where referees have been murdered. You know what I mean? Like on the field.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah. It used to be really fun when I was younger because it was a little bit more relaxed. So it used to be like a rivalry.
Right.
Like,
rivalry.
But it wasn't
dangerous.
Violent. Yeah, it was dangerous and violent.
Yeah.
But when I turned like around 13, 14, it started getting
real
a little bit more rusty, more violent, and I stopped going to the stadium.
Sure.
I go once in a while, like, not anymore. Like, it's been a while, but I miss it because it's like the energy in a Latin American stadium it blows your mind. It's like
it's that's something with the pandemic that I've really like. We've been kind of in a bubble, you know what I mean? Not really being around a whole lot of physical people, so it's been rough. I miss the crowds of events and stuff, just being one ant in a colony moving as a crazy organism, you know what I mean? And
I miss playing shows,
screaming real loud.
I miss playing the piano for people.
I know. How are you guys handling the pandemic in the United States?
Ryan,
I know in some places they didn't care.
So it was like first, second week of March that we've been holed up in the house. The only place I go are the grocery stores and 2 restaurants. Thankfully, we have a pretty good network here in Colorado where outbreaks show up on a map. So we know where at every restaurant, every bank, every structure, there's been an outbreak. So we can avoid those places.
Okay.
I'm very grateful for that. It's not that way in every state. And we have a pretty rigorous system to identify where the outbreaks are happening. So that's been good to be able to control that a little bit. I don't have COVID-19. I get tested all the time. I got tested the other day.
You had to deal with that? Have you had to test at all?
Me? No, I haven't. I haven't. I haven't. We haven't.
I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
Tell me how it is there.
So, what was that?
How is it for you? How has it been for you? Has it affected you at all?
Well, when we arrived here, like 6 months ago, everything was closed. They really like locked us down here. In Monterrey, everything's closed, still closed. They are only start reopening like a couple weeks ago. Down here is better. That's why we moved here as well, because we can go to the nature, to the beach or whatever.
Is that like because maybe less tourists are going there now? Because I wonder if that's part of the issue is like.
Exactly. And you're in the middle of
about having like immunization passports and stuff. I'm not really on board with that. I have a real problem with that. I think it's
restrictive. Yeah, definitely.
But still.
Yeah, pretty soon you'll be flying back to Monterey for a shot just so you can stay where you are. And so, you know what I mean? Instead of paperwork, it'll be some stupid vaccine shot.
Something like that. But if you go to Tulum, which is 3.5 hours from here, you have people from all over the world, and it's like there's no pandemic or anything. So you have people from the States, people from here, all Europe, people from everywhere, all ages, walking around doing.
Is everyone wearing masks?
Not in Tulum. Like Tulum is out of the world. Yeah, Tulum is.
And that's kind of how it affected me, because at first, you've met Jessica. She does have no spleen, so she has a compromised immune system, and she's a nurse. She was working at a nursing home, so with elderly people in a long-term facility. So it was like prime hotbed for it when it, that's all they talked about when it first became a thing, beginning of March of last year. So within like
75% of the deaths in this country have been from people over 75.
Yeah, and I will admit I was a little ahead of the curve because I was seeing all the nonsense out of China with it and shit before it became a actual thing here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the very first day that she came home from work and said she had to start like taking temperatures of everybody coming in and doing like a screening, and then she told me she didn't have proper protection, you know, N95 mask or whatever. I convinced her to stop. I was like, we can make money. I can't make another you.
Yeah.
I know you're safe here. Can you just not do that for a while until shit gets figured out? You know what I mean?
It's better. Yeah.
So and that's what we did. She works with me. She's like works with me now. Works from home. And we actually the kids all did online school this whole year, which I thought was going to be a nightmare, but I mean it is still kind of a struggle and a nightmare.
It's a nightmare for me.
But at the same time, yeah, my older ones have really, you know,
helping out.
They're all doing perfect. They couldn't have better grades, or you know what I mean. They've really coped as well as you could expect or hope they would. You know what I'm saying? But
well, and you have 4 kids. I have 2. So
yeah,
there's a big difference.
And and the bad part is like I enjoyed it a little bit because it made me realize how much of a pace we had previously. You know, it was a work, then it was like, all right, who's got practice doing whatever, who's got to go here, let's shuffle these kids around, dinner, let's get everybody fed, let's get everybody in bed so we can do it all again. But this really slowed our pace down and allowed us just to be in the same space with each other for an extended period of time, and it's been fucking fantastic. So that's, you know, I can't complain about that. But at the same time, now a year later, I question whether or not, like, well, first of all, I don't have any information that I can point to I think is factual to make a reasonable, rational decision.
In what regard?
Just the origins of this virus.
Oh, okay.
First, if you want to start there, you know what I mean?
I'm happy to get into that, but
well, I don't mind talking about it because I mean, it hasn't been proven, which is very concerning to me. And the fact that it's not being like, that's not a huge focus of our entire country and hasn't been this whole year.
It has not been proven exactly how the virus was created, whether it was like, you know, ingested through bats or something like that. But
created.
But there are pretty good peer-reviewed articles out there to suggest, and they've been suggesting it from the beginning. Never mind our stupid dictator in chief.
Which isn't true, though.
But
the bat?
No.
Pangolin?
Lab.
Yeah, I also
experimentation in a lab is how there's a number of peer-reviewed articles to suggest that is exactly how it was created.
What's that called? Gain of function research.
Mm-hmm.
I think like this week they just released a document where they said they know where they come from. You know, it's supposed to be from like a closed town near
ferret badger.
Something like that. But just,
Chinese ferret badger is what the World Health Organization said a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
They made that trip to Wuhan. But then you look at it and you're like, wait a second, who's saying this? Oh, the guy giving the speech is the guy that's like done, you know, the head of all this gain of research function, who has no reason to like be honest about anything. They didn't do any investigation of the lab.
But at some point, but at some point they are like it doesn't honestly matter after a year, over a year now. It
matters a lot to me.
No, it matters a lot to me too, because consequences need to transpire here. But what we've lived through for over a year now is more meaningful in our lives right now. Like, and how we deal with it in the moment is more meaningful rather than like the origins, in my opinion, can come out later, and they will, and they should, and we need to investigate that. But in the time being, we need to get because there's like competing documentation about how effective immunizations are. There's, you know, we have some, like Brazil has
that's the issue.
2 vaccinations from China, AstraZeneca in the UK. There's 0 cases of the blood clotting there, and they've vaccinated most of their people with the AstraZeneca vaccine, but yet France has a bunch of people with blood clots.
11 countries that have just
like
removed it off their shit.
And we don't even administer that one here in the States. We just have Moderna and Pfizer and now Johnson & Johnson.
And that's the problem,
So
just the lack of information to be able to.
That's the problem, is that the public doesn't have access to the information.
And it's affecting my decision making.
Exactly.
You know, that's where it bothers me. Like, I want to be normal. I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to be vaccinated. I just want to understand what's going on so that way I can either be confident that I'm safe or know the risk I'm taking. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm going to live my life accordingly, but at the same time, I'd like to be able to at least try to make an informed decision.
I mean, when the pandemic happened last summer, Rocky Mountain National Park, where I live, which is less than an hour away, closed down. And in my head, I was like, okay, wait, but that's like outdoors. That's nature. I know it's like one of the most highly visited national parks in the entire US. And so they had to figure out how to make that work. But, you know, we're closing down restaurants and everything like that. Okay, I can understand that. But like natural spaces have to be regulated now.
Makes me feel gross. It makes me feel like I'm a conspiracy crazy head. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't want to appear like I'm some conspiracy theorist nonsense guy, but it's hard not to have any, like, I have no faith in anything anymore.
Well, and normal is different. And this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'll let you guys speak. But normal is different for everyone. But my normal is I want to take my kids to a damn playground. I want to take my kids out into nature and not have to worry about it, you know? And
yeah,
ultimately, that's what I need to get back to. It might be different from someone else, and that's fine, but that's the life I need to, because we're an active family that are outside a lot. You know, that's what we love.
It depends on how you look at it. Like for me, it's been amazing. If you ask me in a good way, because we got to travel, we got to reconnect with each other, to live in a different way that we were living before. So if you look at it that way, it gave us the opportunity to reconnect between each other,
right?
Which is really beautiful. We had time with each other. We started to spare time again, even though we're working with the same place and we got related in a different way.
That's
if
beautiful.
you think it's nice, but if you look at it at the way that there's a lot of people dying, or they were dying. Well, in Brazil, it's still like really high. That part is really bad. If you look at it in the way that you don't have the information, right now I'm working. I'm directing marketing in a software company, and one of the softwares is basically verticalized in health, and so we have.
How so? Describe that. Can you?
Yeah, we have. Well, we develop software for healthcare, administrative and operational softwares. And if you look up at different countries than the United States, there's no possible way that we can really have the information to know what's going on, because there is not an electronic health record from anyone, or interoperability between systems that can share information about what's really going on.
Yeah.
So the only country that has this is the United States, and it did it like 10 years ago, that had the information, because before that it didn't have it, and it has it because the government invested in it. So it's a good way to have the information, but it's a good way to control the population as well. But if you look down to other countries that doesn't have that, like in Mexico, there's no possible way that they are telling the truth about the data.
Right.
There's no way to prove it, because there are not electronic records about anything. So how can you say, like, how many people are there vaccinating, or how many people have really died about the...
Are you saying there's no data in Mexico? Like there's no
central data about
record, yeah, that's shared.
There's not a record. in any other country in South America, in Central America or Mexico, there's not electronic center information.
Yeah,
Oh,
center
wow.
like a
And
shared.
if you go to Europe, it's probably the same, and Asia is probably the same.
No fucking way. Like India, there's no way. There's
There's no way that you can tell. Like the electronic record is been one of the most fought software that people are trying to sell to the health system,
right.
But it haven't been really absorbed.
Sure.
For some reason, yeah. So there's no way that in South America, Central America, or Mexico, or some other countries have real data because there's no
Right.
where they can really have that data.
So
how was go
ahead.
Justin?
I just knowing that anytime that you hear any politician or leader talk about it, I mean, are you just like, this is stupid because
they're lying, man.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
For example, it's like down here when the pandemic started, they were most of the people that were dying from COVID
had comorbidities, something else going
on. They were saying that they were dying because of pneumonia.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people that is count as pneumonia, not as COVID.
Mm.
And because you don't have an electronic record, you only have like a paper sheet,
a snapshot. Yeah.
So
that's great.
Who has the real information about it? No one.
But then they expect you to change your entire life.
And should someone have that information? Like, I mean, because that's like an issue of ethics right there too. Is like, I mean, who should hold that information? Those public records.
Yeah.
It's
supposed to be centralized. Like in the United States, it's owned by the government. It's called interoperability.
Yeah.
Like everything about your health is interoperable, and it's like around wherever you go, your data is somewhere.
Right.
And it's held about your electronic record, health electronic record.
Not in every case, though, in this country. I mean, there's a lot of loopholes.
Well, a lot of them have been closed since they've really changed the prescription laws. You used to be able to like go to in between states and get the same prescription filled multiple times, but now all the states communicate and you can't. Those loopholes have been kind of shut down.
Yeah.
What do you think about data itself? Like, because you're in advertising, how much do you use purchase data to form your advertising? And what do you think about your own data and the rights you should have to it?
Well, I migrated from, I used to work in agencies. Now I work as a marketer. Mm-hmm. So it's been quite different. Right here, as I told you, we work with a lot of data because we work in hospitality, healthcare, and retail.
Okay.
So basically what we sell is the software that captures all the data in the operations and the administrative and financial processes in these three different industries.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So we have a lot of data in these three big worlds.
Right.
And whatever happens there, fortunately or unfortunately, we're not using it in a bad way. If you ask me about it, because there's a lot of people that doesn't know how to use it.
So therefore they use it irresponsibly?
Yeah. And then you have like the big players. Well, you have social media owners, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. You heard about the TikTok problem last year?
Yep.
Well, I think it's banned in the United States, isn't it?
No,
not anymore.
Yeah.
My kids are probably upstairs doing TikToks right now, man.
I like it. But then you have like a lot of data there. Like it's a lot of.
I worry about it because just for them. I feel like I'm old enough to be comfortable with all the nonsense data that I create, and find no shame in myself anymore. But for them, they don't have that innocence to make the mistakes that we had because our data wasn't tracked as much. You know what I mean?
I know, but as I told you before, we're nobody. So
Yeah.
data doesn't matter if they know what we do is like.
But
it does have value, though.
I think the issue then becomes, especially, not that we have to get into this right now, but tech companies banning people off their platform and stuff like that. The issue becomes who is in charge of the cash flow. And ultimately, the no names like us could eventually be the targets. And especially in terms of like immunization passports for planes, or even crossing state lines or border lines, whatever they might be. I think there's a real danger of freedom of movement, freedom of speech that's happening right now. And
Definitely.
like, imagine this scenario. In 15, 20 years, we could have a president that will have TikToks from their 10-year-old self out there to be seen,
and I will probably enjoy them.
Yeah, that it just blows my mind that's the next step. We'll start seeing, our congressman as a 5-year-old doing some ridiculous nonsense. Or
you know what? Honestly, that would just be fucking refreshing from what we have now.
Unless you're that guy who's trying to be a politician and be professional and oh, now I got to discuss. And
I mean, what has Mitch McConnell ever done?
But I think it's how we educate ourselves and our the people that are coming with that information.
Mm-hmm.
Like what we should do about it, because there's a lot of information, like as you said, like in every aspect of us.
Do you think data has a monetary value, like your personal data?
A lot. If you, well, not mine, but if you can control,
Well, without yours and mine, that whole.
That's what I thought. As a volume, like if you have the volume, you can control population.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's like it depends on. Ryan said before, it depends on who owns that information and who can control that information to manipulate whatever they're going to do with all the data. But everything we do is data. I mean, if all your bank accounts are generating data, all your social media is generating data, all your shopping is generating data.
And we are reminded of it every day of our lives.
Everything.
Do any work with AI in your software at all?
Yeah, we're started working more for decision making in operations, but we haven't
AI?
it could be. Yeah, we haven't started exploring AI as much as we could, but we started integrating it in the data we're generating, so that we could take decisions to efficientize the processes during the operations.
Right. I think
processes. Yeah.
Here's a nerd term that I think may be true. Compression is a sign of intelligence. Compression of data, meaning being able to store a terabyte of information in a very small space, that act of compression is a sign of intelligence. And the better we become at compression, the less control we will have of it, because it'll take on its own intelligence, I would think.
So therefore the question becomes, is intelligence a good thing?
Yeah, of course it is.
It depends on, but it depends on.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on who's in control.
Yeah, it's always going to be.
Well, AI, in theory, could be in control of itself. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm talking about. What's the name of this robot they created a couple years ago? That he said that he wanted to kill humanity.
Yes. Oh, Justin, you sent me that video.
Yeah. I like that. The guy that made him is awesome. Ben. Oh gosh, what's the robot's name? Is like Maya or something like that.
Hold on. I think it's in my Facebook feed. I'll pull it up here.
I want to say Ben Goetzel.
One of the strongest.
Super smart.
Yeah. One of the strongest right now is the one that IBM created like 10, 12 years ago, which is Watson.
Yeah.
Watson, yeah. And it didn't work until like 2-3 years ago, and now they're using it a lot. They start exploring the information that is bringing outside. But then you don't have like a normal brain being able to take decisions. You have a machine taking decisions out of something that it shouldn't. Well,
Yeah.
It probably doesn't have the ability to take decisions.
The morals programmed.
Morals, values.
But do we want it to have? Because that's kind of the point of having it, is because it separates that stuff and just focuses on the data as a whole. Yeah, Ben Goetzel. That's probably not how you. That's probably not how you say his name, but
Goetzel.
Big hippie. He's a huge hippie.
Yeah, that's the guy you were talking about, right?
Yeah, those are two robots, and they get really weird when they start talking.
I watched the whole thing, and I honestly don't think I even like responded to your text when you sent this to me. It was like, I'm a little freaked out right now.
Yeah, Sophia. Did you ever see the movie Ex Machina? That was a movie based on Sophia robot. Like,
I hear it's really good. I've never seen it.
Was it a Turing test where you can't distinguish between artificial intelligence and it was like the first robot to pass the Turing test.
Yeah,
I see it as basically our next the evolution, our like unconscious, because if you look at history, we've just done nothing but improve upon everything before it. Like, it's our natural state of being is to keep making improvements on everything. So hold on, hear me out. So we're building the cocoon to emerge as the AI butterfly, the machine butterfly. We're basically building our own evolutionary step into a machine-based organism.
But you just use the word unconscious as if that implies that
like worker bees.
Yes, that AI is going to rely on our unconscious selves to fall into line for this. And I think ultimately what we're going to have to come to is the fact that, yes, humans make mistakes, but the mistakes are what make us better. And to solely rely on AI for marketing decisions or for musical, I have friends in New York City who are exclusively composer friends who have doctorates in composition, who are exclusively writing music, writing code for a machine to produce operas. I mean, this is what's happening. I mean, like, that kind of disconnect is something that I do not get. I don't understand. And it makes me feel extremely uncomfortable moving forward, saying like, okay, like, take it and forgive me.
Doesn't it seem inevitable?
I don't want it to be inevitable. I fear it is. I fear it is. And I fear it. And it brings me anxiety. I don't like it because humans are creative beings.
Yeah.
And we must be creative beings. So we create these awesome systems, manifestations of ourselves that, may one day take control of us. That doesn't make any sense to me because in the end, it takes us out of the equation.
Oh, it's almost as if we want it to.
I think we have to go back to basics, man.
I agree.
One point, we're going to go back to basics because we're going to figure out what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And there has to be something that detonates world population filter and reduce the quantity of people we are right now.
Mm-hmm. We're either going to destroy ourselves or merge with the machines.
Then
either one sounds terrible to me.
Well, if we destroy ourselves, hopefully there's enough of us left.
Because as humans, we need to be like we are naturally empathetic beings, I believe. I mean, many of us are also evil. I get that. I mean, you understand. You come from a place that's, has a lot of stereotypes, but also has a lot of confirmed things in Medellin, and I hear it's a beautiful city, but I also we can't remove ourselves from the equation because empathy is something that is unique to ourselves to mammals.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it in dogs. You know, I see it in cats. I see it in
Right.
the natural world at every level. And AI doesn't have that. You can't program empathy.
It's impossible.
You can simulate it.
No, you can't. You can simulate logic. You can't simulate empathy.
You can stimulate the right neurons in my brain to make me feel it.
Maybe.
Yeah. Just connect me the right way, man. That's all I'm saying. That's why I'm a simulation theory fan, because it just seems inevitable. And if it is inevitable, why hasn't it already happened? And I can't really prove it hasn't.
And why would you not define that as eternal life?
It's like when the pandemic started, and saying what you're saying, like the girl, the woman who helped us in the house in Monterrey said something really smart, something really strange, and she was like, someone who created this virus intelligently did it because they want to get rid of old people. So that the governments didn't have to pay, well, how you call that?
Reparations or
no? What did what?
You mean?
They say
Afforded the
pensiones, pension people. Well, they didn't want to pension them, so it's expensive for them, for the governments. So they wanted to get rid of all population, and it was virus created for that. How do I connect this with what we were talking about? One of them is data, and the other one is the empathy. That you don't give a shit about people, so you just get rid of people who could be apporting a lot. Yeah. And I believe that you have to be inhuman to be able to think that way. I don't, or very human, very human, very
I struggle with that. Yeah. I hear
That's
you.
what I like about you, man. You are pretty human.
Yeah,
I agree. That's awesome.
Yeah, but
and also scary too.
Yeah, but AI is, I think it's wrong.
Because it sounds like she was probably right. She, you know, I could easily believe that's correct. You know what I mean? It wouldn't shock me at this point to learn that was like actually the case.
But this woman that told me this she doesn't know how to read.
Oh, see,
wow,
that's just an awareness.
And I was like, whoa, what did you just say?
Yeah,
wow.
And we're having a conversation. We're like, no shit. She's saying me this, and I was like, it's a smart thought, and she's telling me this.
Yeah, and that's just based on
she doesn't even know how to read, and we're like, whoa.
But that's what she's seeing in the world around her.
Yeah. And she's quite old, to be honest with you. She's probably like around 60 something.
That's scary.
See, but it's part of the beauty of humanity. It's part of like what we collectively.
How does she live her life? Is she carefree and doesn't worry about it?
No, she did. Well, she has to work, but
yeah,
we tried to get her the money for that so that she didn't have to come to our house. But she was like, no, I need to work. So she felt like it. So, but we used to pick her up and bring her home and whatever.
Yeah, but she's not. Is she worried about getting it, or is she like?
She was, yeah, of course she was wearing her mask and whatever.
Gotcha.
But somehow
I could see it the other way too, where she thought that was the case, and because of it, was just going to live her life and not worry. You know what I mean? Not be.
No. She was scared about it
because she's in that category.
Yeah. She was in the category, and she thought like they're doing it because they want to get rid of us.
They're trying to.
The government is spending a lot of money paying these kind of things.
That's a scary feeling when you see that around you, and then you realize you're one of them. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit.
How do you explain that? I mean, how do you internalize that?
And see, and how a machine can like, I don't know, have the diversity of thinking.
Right.
I don't know. I know it's possible, but
who's next?
Who's next?
That's the question. Exactly. What demographic or whatever's next?
Yeah, because the ill people, the people with obesity and the old people were the one that that they were dying.
Mm-hmm.
So she told me this, like all the sick people, fat people, and people with problems, and the elderly are the ones that are dying.
For the
We
most
are the ones that are costing the government money and the company's money, and we are not the working hands that have the more
To create.
ready to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it shocked me when she told me this because she doesn't even know how to read, and she was like, wow.
I think I read something about population growth is on a pretty big decline too.
It is. By 2050, they're saying there'll be like 1 billion less people in the world. Like where population growth is not, and that's why that argument goes out the door for me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are choosing not to have kids later.
Yeah.
Or just not have kids. And I respect all of that. I was a guy who didn't want to have kids, but I ended up having two, and it was great. And I love them like my own self. But
I'll be honest, if I had to like make that decision to have kids after this past year, I'd be like, I'd be hard pressed to like be okay with it just because, you know, my oldest is 13. So the world was a lot different 13 years ago. And there was no, you know, like, yeah, I can raise a child. I can create a human being and success.
But isn't that part of like every new parent's life? It's like, should I bring life into the world? I know 2020 was exceptional.
It felt a lot more controllable.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense, the world around you. And now it doesn't seem very controllable.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you were to have a child right now, we have a friend that went through this, Tim O'Brien, when he had his baby. She had to basically be in the room by herself. You know what I mean? While she gave birth. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
I can't even. NPR just did a report on that a week ago or so that I listened to. It's like that's just so heartbreaking.
Yeah,
I could not even imagine. Like,
can we have something
not in the room for my kid's birth? That's just ridiculous.
Let me change this to something more lively, please, before I get all depressed. What are you listening to, Andres? What music are you listening to right now?
What kind of music am I listening to right now?
Yeah, what's the last song you played in the car or wherever, or just while you're working? What are you listening to?
Be honest.
Unfortunately,
I know you're honest, but
can you send us a link? There's a chat thing on here. Can you send us a link so Ryan can...
links? Unfortunately, let me check. I don't have no idea.
Or I can look it up. Yeah, if you just throw out a name, that's cool too. I love talking to you, Andre. This has been such an awesome conversation.
What type of music?
I'm glad. It's like, let me send it to you.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Let's see. This is not what I listen all the time.
Hey, that's okay.
But
we're not going to judge you, man.
I'm a very eclectic.
Unfortunately, yeah, I got away from music. I don't know why. So I listen whatever is on in the moment I'm in.
I used to get.
I know I used to love music a lot, but yeah, I haven't. I'm too busy all the time to.
Sure. Only pay for what you need. Are you playing?
That's like a rap group from Monterrey.
Can you copy the link and put it in the chat?
I did.
It's going right now. I have to get through ads. Hold on.
What kind of dogs do you have?
There we go. What?
It's noisy ones. No, one of them is I think it's like Labrador. Is
Labrador, okay. Yeah, I was going to guess probably 45, 50 pounds, one of them. That one?
Yeah.
Just by the sound of its voice, it sounds like a 40-pound, really nice. Medium-sized dog.
And the other one is a Chihuahua.
Nice.
We both of them found them on the streets.
Okay.
Yeah.
They get along well? Really
well. Yeah, they're like, really close.
Yeah, I have that issue here. Our two dogs don't get along very well, so they're isolated in separate parts of the house.
At the beginning, they were like fighting with each other, but now they are like.
Yeah, it's the little one that's got the complex. You know what I mean?
Well, the small one is the alpha male.
Yeah.
No, it's the alpha male, so he's the one that owns everything.
Right.
The other one is really noble, so
passive, lazy, just wants to.
Really nice
like a Labrador mix, a big one.
Don't make me cry. Stop.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Like this.
Pintan de sicarios y resultan lo contrario. Dicen que son de barrio, que fueron pandilleros. No tienen expediente y que son puro pedo. Para hacerlo verdad.
What?
We might get copyright knock here. I just had that happen with that last one we did with like it was a 10-second fish video we watched. I mean
but we played a lot of other stuff.
True.
And it was only
really
fish.
Dig that, dude. That's I dig that beat for sure. I'm a big hip hop fan, so that speaks to me.
You're a big you used to be a big fan of that, no?
Yeah, I enjoy it.
I don't listen that much to hip hop, but that was the last one I heard.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like a rap group from Monterrey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I copied it and put it in my browser so I could listen to some more of it later.
Yeah, Monterrey, like right. Ryan, you like a lot of music, like you work in that.
Mm-hmm.
Like Monterrey was like the epicenter of music in like around 90s, probably. Like a lot of music came from Monterrey to all Latin America. It was like the center of everything. So like a lot of groups grew from Monterrey and they started going all around Latin America from all different of kind of
genders,
all genres.
One of them was this one.
Would you say a lot of artists, like old school artists, Mexican artists from that time, were like making stops in Monterrey?
Yeah.
Didn't Monterrey have a big festival, a music festival every year?
There's a lot of festivals. Like most of the festivals are in Monterrey.
Yeah.
So all the big artists from all over the world, they always stop in Monterrey and Mexico City.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But Monterrey is like the like probably like the most important place in Mexico to do the events, actually.
Oh, I got a question for you, man. You remember Chris Linford?
Yeah, hell yeah.
He told me to ask you this. Do you remember skating the Brooklyn banks in New York City?
Yeah, of course I remember, man.
Well, tell me about it, because I don't know the story.
Long time ago, man. I think we went with Nathan now.
Skateboard, right?
Yeah. I used to skateboard.
Right.
I used to love to skate with Chris. Man, it was amazing.
So you went to New York City with Chris?
We went with and this German guy Axel.
Okay, I remember him.
We took all the trip. Yeah, it was really nice. The trip to New York. It was the first time. Yeah, I wanted. Yeah, it was actually the first time I went.
Skating in Brooklyn. I'm so excited.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I was really into skating, and there was this spot because of the video game.
Right, Tony Hawk.
Yeah, and we were like, I need to go there. So we went to skate there.
Yeah, that's one of the stages from Tony Hawk. That's right, the banks.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I wasn't really good, but it was nice.
Was it a moment where you're like, holy shit, I've been looking at this on a video game for a while, and now I'm here?
Yeah, so it was like, whoa. So I asked them to bring me there. Yeah,
really cool.
We used to go with Chris and Nathan. I don't remember his brother name.
Daniel.
Yep. We used to go to Indianapolis to this skate park, and we used to go in Louisville.
Yep.
With them as well.
Yeah, that was right when they started. The X Games were a big thing.
Yeah. With Arlo Eisenberg and all these guys, and we used to go to downtown Louisville to skate. Well, actually, I was mixed between skating and rollerblading.
Yeah, he rollerbladed a lot.
Yeah, because they were rollerbladers. I used to rollerblade with them.
Yeah.
Daniel used to do the same. He was a rollerblader, but he liked more skateboarding. But Nathan and Chris were really good rollerbladers.
Yeah.
So whenever we went to downtown Louisville, we used to rollerblade, and there was this really amazing spot by the river.
Mhm.
I don't remember.
Skate
It
park
was
there.
probably I don't remember. It
Yep.
was a long time ago,
That's a good spot.
and it was probably like I don't know. It was a huge jam, and this time I did like a 360 something. I don't remember the name of the tricks. With this huge gap, and I landed in my back, and I hit my back. Like I'm never gonna do this again.
Oh,
Well, like 5 meter high, so like really high, really high.
That's funny.
But it was really fun to skate with them. It was amazing.
That's a good time, man. I didn't when he told me to ask you that, I didn't really put it together with it being on a spot on Tony Hawk's, but that makes perfect sense why you would want to go there. And
I really wanted to go. Yeah. I wasn't the best one, but
still, that's just a.
you don't have to be to enjoy the moment.
I know.
Yeah.
But I remember more like the times I used to go with Chris and Nathan and all of them to downtown Louisville to rollerblade.
Right.
It was amazing. It used to go at night.
I'll give you a good
skating.
Ryan. Here's a good Andre soccer story.
Yes, please.
I went on vacation with the Linfords. We went to the beach.
I remember. Beach.
Yeah, we would play a game called Ass. It's basically like a hacky sack game where you don't want the ball to bounce. You want to keep the ball in the air. And if you were the one that let it bounce, you got a letter, kind of like pig in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get ass, then you have to stand up against the wall and let the other players take penalty shots at your ass. And I remember being in wet swimming trunks on a tennis court, getting ass, and then Andre's lighting me up like this square in my ass, like perfect. Just couldn't have hit it any better. You know what I mean?
Well, the gluteus maximus is the largest muscle in your body.
It was rough. It was fun, but I'll never forget that. I knew it was coming because he's super accurate. I'm sure he still is, but that was one thing I really admired about his soccer skills, how accurate his placements was. But if it was small enough, it would have went into my butt. I'm pretty sure that's how pinpoint accurate it was. And it hurt.
I was a little bit mean when I was.
What were you wearing?
It was a good time. Wet swimming trunks, so it lit me up. I deserved it. It's not like I wasn't trying to drill somebody else when they got ass. It was just part of the game. It was the fun of it because when somebody got it, it was like, oh shit. You got to do it. You got to do it. It's really easy to want to bitch out right there and just like, no, quit. I'm not playing.
It's not the way to go.
Nuh-uh, it didn't happen. That was a good story.
I miss playing soccer. I miss playing soccer.
Yeah, it's a good time. The Linfords were a good soccer family. That I really, I liked playing with their parents back in the day. That was a good time. It was the first time I really played a sport with somebody's parents where I was like, they're way better than me.
Yeah, I know.
They're like super strong and like way more skilled than I am. This isn't fair.
I know.
They made me feel like a little kid.
Paul was really good as well.
Yeah. They were all super talented, but they grew up.
Yeah, we call it here what they used to play was micro football. We call it micro football, like it's micro soccer, something like that, which is small, like in closed places.
Yeah, indoor.
Less people.
Mm-hmm. Really good.
I like it. Yeah, I like it a lot. I miss playing a lot.
Yeah, I wish that was more popular. I wish indoor soccer was more of a thing. You know what I mean? I would be going to watch some indoor soccer because it's way more entertaining.
In Brazil, I think it's really, really, really common.
Like 3-on-3, 4-on-4, like a smaller.
Yeah.
That would be really good to see.
Yeah, when we were younger, we used to play but the ball is really hard.
Yeah.
In Colombia, we 5-on-5.
Mm-hmm.
And the ball is really hard.
It's not coming off the ground a lot. And
whenever they hit you with that, it hurts a lot.
Yeah. A lot of skilled footwork, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you have to be really skillful with your ball. So to be able to play micro football.
Nothing better than nutmegging somebody, though. There's nothing better than that. It's like the ultimate.
Yeah. I miss it a lot.
That's why I liked Carlos Valderrama. Remember?
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of his little spin move. I love that stuff.
I know.
He was the first crazy guy that, like, I don't know why I fell in love with it. I guess it was the Olympics or something, but I just remember crazy hair, headband. I was like, yep, this guy is the shit. I want to be this guy. And that's why I wore the headband. I'm pretty sure it was because of him.
I know.
Good times, man.
El pibe.
Dude, I'm really glad you're safe, healthy, and happy.
I know.
It's good to see you
Sorry,
doing what you want to do.
You have gray hair, man.
Yeah, I got a bunch. I'm old. I got a bunch of kids too. So
Yeah, I have like in my beard.
yeah, I do. This mustache is not me, by the way. I just shaved all my beard off
You
yesterday.
look amazing. You look much better without beard, man. You look much better without the beard.
Well, I did it just to like annoy my kids and my other half, because they hate it. So even when I catch myself looking, just catch my own reflection, it doesn't feel normal.
I know, but you look so much better, man, without the beard.
Cool. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, you look so old, man, with the long beard. I just left mine like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it looks good. You're getting.
Yeah, but I'm gonna shave it. Yeah, I'm gonna shave it, man.
Yeah, it's just I hate shaving.
Yeah,
I'm sure you get it too, real irritated, and your beard thick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
So
thick.
you gotta have a nice razor to get that good, or else you're just gonna be miserable for 3-4 days after.
And you have to do it every single day.
Mhm.
Almost twice a day, in the morning and night, something like that.
Yeah, it's just too much work, man.
And what about Chris, man?
He actually lives in Colorado, not too far from Ryan.
Nice.
Yeah, he's got three.
Yeah, he has a bunch of kids.
Yeah. Seems super happy and doing the things he likes to do out there, man. I obviously don't get to see him as much as I like to, but
I know.
we keep up, you know what I mean? He seems happy. That's the important part.
That's the important part of everything, man.
Yeah.
Actually, like, it was the 2nd of January. After I did the cave dive, I did it with this amazing guy that you probably heard about or you probably know about. Do you remember Rugrats?
Yeah.
Well, I met Ron Noble.
Oh, wow.
It was really amazing because after the dive, we stood we ended up having a really nice afternoon because we got drunk really bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, after the dive, we sat down, we arrived to the dive center and we're like, hey, you want a beer? Yeah, I want a beer. So we started drinking beers and we got really drunk, man, drinking mezcal until, all afternoon. It was really nice. Saying this is because we grew up with him telling his story through the different chapters he wrote.
Right.
About his family. He told me, that was my family, man. This one was my brother, it was my sister, whatever. Every character in the cartoon, was part of his family.
Wow.
And at the end is that we have to live our story and share it in a different way that we can connect with people. Always trying to help them and making sense of how we share and care about the circles we have around. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
It makes perfect sense because what you said was we have to live our story and connect. And for me, it's a struggle. It's not easy to do, but
you make me want to watch Rugrats though right now, because now I'm like,
right,
thinking about it totally differently. I had no idea that was based on his actual family.
Yeah, it was crazy, man, because I didn't care.
Yeah,
we had so much, we were having a really nice conversation.
Right.
We actually spent more time talking about cryptocurrency than Rugrats. So it was fun. He was like, man, you have to get into Bitcoin. And I fucking hated that I didn't do it, man. Because
it's still tough.
I didn't either. I was thinking about it, and then I wish I had been thinking about GameStop.
You would have been rich now, man.
But NFTs, I mean, come on, what Justin, you have to know about these, the non-fungible tokens. $69 million for the bungle art piece. Like what's going on with that?
Dude,
so you have ownership over it. You have ownership because it's unique data that's given to you in a file, and you have ownership over that file, but you do not have ownership over
the object
who uses that image.
Yeah.
You know, you have original rights, but those rights don't give you anything. So what's the point? I don't understand.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I will highly recommend buying several versions of cryptocurrency.
Oh yeah.
If I were a betting man, which I am, Bitcoin will be $75,000 before July 4th.
How much do I have to put into it to get something back?
If you $10, throw $10 at it. And by July, if it goes from 50, it was like 54,000 this morning.
How much one Bitcoin is like $36,000 right now or something?
It was 56. Here, I'll tell you exactly how much it is because I care way too much about it.
In January, it went from 20 something to 30 something. He was like, "You have to buy it, man. You have to buy it." I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna buy it."
It was 3,000 something last year.
I know, shit.
So you're buying a piece of it, but then how do you redeem it?
Right now, one Bitcoin is worth $57,692.
That's the point, Ryan. You don't have to redeem it. That's the thing you have to change.
Like if you think of it like a savings account, I mean, do you need you
just
need
hold
to
that shit?
But you shouldn't. Like that's the chip you have to change.
Yeah.
Talk more. Go, because I'm curious because I don't know anything about it.
Well, I mean, for example, like Venezuela, you saw they just had that economic crash in like a year or two ago, where they're basically just throwing their money into the streets because it wasn't worth anything.
Yeah,
Bitcoin is how most people ended up surviving a lot of that and like doing their transactions, and it was all through cryptocurrency.
But in Venezuela, I mean, so they're redeeming portions of Bitcoin.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You don't buy cryptocurrency to invest. You buy it to give it value, because you don't buy it to somehow exchange it. You buy it because you know in the future you're gonna use it. So you buy it to give it value, so in the future you can use cryptocurrency to buy everything.
So when the infrastructure is in place, it will be easily.
It's gonna be in like the couple years.
Yeah.
Right now you can buy things in cryptocurrency right now.
Yeah.
And there are
Bitcoin is the one to go with, or Doge, or
diversify, man. Diversify your bonds. Wu-Tang. Yeah.
But seriously, to be, I mean, how much should I throw at it? You know, if I was
nothing more than you're willing to lose,
because you might lose it.
That's my advice, because it may be 56,000 today. It could possibly be 40,000 next week. I don't see that happening. Like I said, I think it'll
lose your investment totally. Lose your ownership of that investment.
The value of it could decrease, but that's the risk you run. It's like any currency exchange.
But it's like,
it's all based on other currencies and what they're valued at.
Yeah,
exactly the same.
Yeah, it's the same as having francs instead of dollars or whatever. You know.
Honestly, what's appealing about it to me is that, you know, we're living in a world now where debt is, you know, we're taught how to manage our own personal debt in a responsible manner, but countries don't do that.
Well, Bitcoin's decentralized. That's the appealing part.
Yeah, you know, and that's exactly what I'm saying is that Bitcoin in some sense might be immune from typical inflation rates. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that's one of the things is that world banks or national banks or any bank is owned by someone.
Yeah.
And cryptocurrencies is owned by the people who owns the currency.
Right.
Which is like a big change.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference.
Because there's only so much of it that exists at any given point.
Okay.
So if the world, like for example, US have a big debt with China. Actually, debt's like it's like the biggest debt in the world.
Yeah.
And all the other countries, the debt is with the United States. But basically, the owners of the currencies are families.
Yeah.
No one tell you that.
For sure.
Well, for example, we've had 3 stimulus things since the pandemic. Every one of those wasn't money that was already in the economy. That was money that was just created out of nothing, just to try to stimulate the economy. So basically,
well, it's not necessarily
we
created out of nothing. I mean, we're borrowing again. Basically, after the passage of this $1.9 trillion stimulus bill, the United States their GDP is less than what we owe in debt. But so we are in a weird inflation bubble thing right now. But the real issue with that is the 2 previous stimulus bills went to the top and did not go to the people who actually needed it.
Well, the issue, I think, is the money didn't exist before they wanted it to exist, and that's the problem with Bitcoin.
But they invent money all the time.
You can't, though, with Bitcoin.
Big problem. Yeah, that's a big problem.
But you can't with Bitcoin. That's okay.
Yeah, and there lies the problem. If you can just create it out of thin air and not have any it based on a value like a gold standard or a
who decides whatever. That though?
Well, that's what the gold standard was a public decision to back their
interesting
dollar currency with precious metal based on
I understand that. Yeah, anyway, I appreciate the lesson. Yeah, thank you.
I'm no economist, you know what I mean? I'm no Milton Friedman or anything.
I'm gonna go out and buy some crypto.
You should. You don't have to go anywhere. That's the cool part.
Let me get my boots on.
Right here while we're sitting here on the, you know what I mean?
Go ahead.
And the cool part is I've owned a full Bitcoin. I don't own a full Bitcoin currently. I wish I did because I've sold a lot of cryptocurrency over the years because I'm an idiot. But just having a part, like seeing the part that you do have increase in value, like fuck yeah, because you can't put your money into a traditional savings account and expect the kind of gains that you see.
Oh, it's like a 1 to 2% interest gain.
Less than that, probably.
Yeah, even less than that.
Yeah,
losing money.
Yeah, it decreases significantly each time our government decides to just create more money. That really fucks things up.
There is this story about this guy in Spain. That he had like, I don't know, a lot of Bitcoins, like whole Bitcoins, like 10 years ago.
Couldn't remember his password?
No.
Oh, okay.
And he was sitting with his friend and they were like, man, let's order pizza. And this pizza guy said like, dude, you have to pay me. And he said, I don't have any money. But like, I can pay you with Bitcoins, man. I'm going to give you lots of Bitcoins. And he gave him lots of Bitcoins that right now are worth 450 million euros, man. Like, almost $500 million.
Wow. Ryan, for example, I'm looking at the.
And he paid like a pizza with that. Like, dude,
I hope that pepperoni was really delicious.
Yeah.
So in the past year, Bitcoin has went up 831% in 1 year.
Send me a trusted website that you use to buy crypto. And I will, because I'm not going to research it on my own because I don't trust myself.
I haven't done it because of that. Yeah, I haven't done it.
I just don't know anything about it. And, but I trust my friends.
That's why I would only recommend throwing $10, $20 at it and just forgetting about it. You know what I mean? Maybe in a couple of weeks, add another $10.
July 4th.
Well, that's just my own stupid prediction. Don't put any weight on that. That's just my own.
I could sell my 16mm copy of Frankenstein for $500 tomorrow.
Yeah,
and throw it on Bitcoin.
You don't want to do that though, because you don't not have your thing. Yeah, just take $10 out of your next check and throw it on there.
Well, if Bitcoin grows, I can buy another copy of Frankenstein on 16mm.
That's true. That is very true. Or the NFT of one.
I'm going to the restroom really quick.
Hey man, let's wrap it up. I'll let you get out of here. It's been a while, so I got to get back to check on kids and wife and shit. It's been a fucking pleasure though to talk to you for real.
It's amazing, man.
It's really good to see
It's
you.
been really nice to meet you, Ryan. It's amazing.
It was really wonderful to meet you. I love talking
It's
to you.
amazing, man. Yeah.
Yeah, glad you're happy, healthy.
So do I. Yeah. So the same with you, both of you.
Yeah, keep traveling, dude. I want to see more.
Whenever you have the time to come here to Mexico, you have a place to stay here.
Dude.
Yeah, wherever I am, you always
I
find a
want to
place
so
here.
bad.
Guys, it's always been for whatever. Yeah, send me a message and you have a place to stay.
I've only been to Mexico once and I loved it.
It's amazing, man. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Where did you come to?
Well, it doesn't count because I went to Juarez.
No.
But what I really but what I really want to do, because I'm a hiker and a climber.
What are you doing in Juarez? What's in Juarez?
Working? No. I was just on vacation and I just spent a couple days in Juarez.
What is in Juarez? I don't know.
What
Did you go there for a particular reason? Did you go to Juarez for just?
No, well, we were I was in El Paso.
You just be adjacent to the border.
Yeah,
there.
just adjacent to the border.
Yeah, it's the border between
Yeah, El Paso and Juarez right there. Yeah.
Tijuana, no? Tijuana? It's Tijuana, no?
No.
Tijuana's over. Yeah, it's
Tijuana
also a border
San
city.
Diego.
Yeah, San Diego.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Similar idea though. If instead of if you went to San Diego for vacation, I could see you going to Tijuana for a couple of days to say you went to Mexico. Same concept.
In El Paso.
Yep.
Yeah, in El Paso, Texas.
Yeah.
What I really want to do is go down and climb Popo outside of Mexico City. I want to do the 18,000-foot volcanoes. That's
Nice.
sort of one of my bucket list dreams.
The big one is ¿cómo se llama? Orizaba.
Yeah. Orizaba.
Yeah, that's the
18,491 feet.
Yeah, if you're a climber or whatever, it's Orizaba is like it's the highest here in Mexico, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's higher than anything we have in Colorado.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most dangerous, but yeah.
Go pee, bro. Have a great night.
It's good to talk to you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing talking to you, man.
All right, later, man.
Later.
Yeah.